So for this next one, we're going to look at dot plots. It's called Tic-Tac-Dot Plot. So that means we're going to put an X on the false statements and then circle the true ones. And then we'll keep going until we get 3 circled in a row. So we're going to go through and just answer all of them. And then we'll end up finding our 3 in a row. So I'm going to start with some easy ones first. So is the data symmetrical? So remember, that's where if you cut it in half, it's the same. That is false. The mode of the data is 1. Remember, mode is the most, and this one does have the most dots. Remember, it's not the biggest number, but it's one that has the most dots that are present. So we're going to put a circle. We'll look at the data skewed left. Remember, that's your tail. So if I were to connect my dots, my tail goes down to the right side. So that's false. But we do have at the bottom left, the data is skewed right, so that one's correct. Okay, the range has a spread of 8. So the range is where your data starts and where it ends. It has dots. So our range starts at 9. It has a dot, and our last one that has a dot is 0. 9 minus 0 is 9, because it's your highest minus lowest. So it says it's 8. That is false, but the one below it says it's 9. Okay, next is median. So we do the median to find the mean to see if this one is correct. Okay, so remember, for the median, we're going to mark off our dot, a high and a low, until we find the center of the data. Okay, so we're left with 2 dots, which is in between 1 and 2. So remember, we can add them up. So 1 plus 2 is 3. Then we'll divide that by 2. And then this is going to show us our number that is in the middle. And we get 1.5. And so our median is the one at the bottom. So that means that this one's wrong. But we are going to answer this one. So is the mean for the data greater than 1? Well, if our median is 1.5, the mean is the average. And is 1.5 greater than 1? Yes, it is. Okay, so I want you to make sure you go through and we're going to mark out all of them to verify. All right, so the next one. We'll do this one. Okay, so for this one, we're comparing 2 sets of data. Okay, so we'll start off with some easy ones. Okay, so let's do the symmetrical. The number of junk emails received by Anders is symmetrical. And is Anders symmetrical? No, it's not. Okay, the next is looking at if it's skewed or not skewed. So both sets of data are skewed right. They have a positive skew. So remember, that's your tail. So if I connect them, does my tail go to the right? No, they go to the left. Okay, let's look at mode. So they're saying the mode number of junk emails received by Marcus is less than the mode for the number of junk emails received by Anders. So the mode for Marcus is 7, because that's the most, and the mode for Anders is 5, because that has the most dots. So is Marcus less than Anders? No, it is more. So here's our other mode. Is Marcus greater than Anders? Yes. All right, so now let's look at range. So range is going to be the highest minus the lowest. Okay, so we're looking at dots. So the range for Anders has a dot at 7 and 1. So 7 minus 1 is 6. Marcus has a dot at 10. And his lowest has a dot at 2. So 10 minus 2 is 8. So now we can see which one is right. The range for the number of junk emails Marcus received is greater than the range junk emails Anders received. And is Marcus bigger than Anders? Yes. So that means the one below it is wrong. All right, so now we're going to look at the medians. Okay, so the median's your middle. So let's start off with Anders. We're going to mark off our dots on both ends till we find the center. of the data. So Anders' median is 5. Then we'll do Marcus. Marcus is 7. Okay. So now we read it. The median number of junk emails Anders receive is less than the median junk emails for Marcus. That is true because Anders' median was 5. Marcus's median was 7. So that means this one on the bottom is wrong. So again, we're going to answer this last one. The mean for the number of junk emails for both boys is 7. And that is false. So remember, the mean is your average. So your average, your median, your mean are going to be close. So Marcus, that's true because his median was 7. So his mean is going to be close to 7. Whereas Anders, his was 5 for his median. So that means his mean will be about 5. All right, so those of you that are in class, you're going to do dot plot 2 and dot plot 4. And for those of you, after you finish all of this, you will work on your homework.